What up, folks? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the best advice ever podcast. Yeah, with your boy, comedian Mike Goodwin. Let's get this thing started quickly and promptly with the episode that I really like talking about, on the road. Well, if you are a frequent listener or regular listener, you know that I'm done being on the road as it relates to traveling for comedy until 2024. So I'm good, which is a blessing. I enjoy or I have been afforded luxuries in my career that I would have never imagined maybe some years ago. And even if I talk to some peers, I'm in a position to where I have some cushion. I have not cushion, maybe not the best word. I used to work in education, and I'm accustomed. Chris Rock has a joke about when women and men break up. You talk about what you were accustomed to. When I was working at the school, I was accustomed to having my summers off. I was accustomed to having a 2-week break, spring break, Thanksgiving break. There were things that were cooked into my schedule even before working. I spent 8 years working at an independent school, but before that, I worked at the University of South Carolina for 2 or 3 years, probably 3 years. And I've always been on an academic schedule since I've gotten out of the military. Now, in the military, you're on the Uncle Sam schedule. I don't know what schedule that is, but since I've been in professional life, I've worked in academia. I've worked in higher education. I've worked in secondary ed. And I've had things baked into the schedule by virtue of the job that I had. And people would always tell me about, oh, you get your little 2 weeks. People would be very frustrated with my schedule. But nobody was frustrated with my pay. Nobody ever had anything to say about the pay. They just were talking about the time off. They over here making 6 and 7 figures, and I'm trying to get the 5. Well, I'm making 5, but was making 5. Everybody had something to say. Everybody got something to say. You learn that in life, man. People are gonna talk, man. They don't let it affect you. It don't matter what you do. You work at a school, not making a lot of money, people got something to say. You getting a lot of money, people got something to say. You're not working, people got something to say. You got 3 jobs, people got something to say. Well, I got something to say. That's why I got a podcast. Before I got all down this road, I'm accustomed to having these built-in breaks. And since I'm of the entrepreneurial track now, I work in the if you don't kill it, you don't eat it, right? And you really are dictated heavily by the opportunities that come your way, whether someone calls you and tries to book you, or you create opportunities. I've done a few of those myself. So I've created some opportunities for myself, shows that I booked, and they've went well. So in saying all of that, it's a blessing for me to come to the end of 2023 and have the ability to say, yeah, I'm not traveling for the rest of the year. But even though I'm not traveling for work, I'm still traveling, or there's still some conversations that I need to have about the travels that I have had. So that's what I'm gonna talk about a little bit on the road segment. One of the things we'll talk about, if I'm on the road, this happened to me when I was in Ohio. I spent 3 days in Ohio. I talked about this in Amish country. I did a Friday, Saturday, and a Monday show. Sunday was my day. Sunday was where I was going to spend time recouping, reevaluating, decompressing, whatever the case may be. But inevitably, whenever you're on the road and somebody gets close to you, people want to invite you to church. Hey, if I'm on the road and I'm in the hotel on Sunday. Don't invite me to church. I done been to plenty church. And I know this doesn't sound, this isn't what people typically would deem to be appropriate. Man, don't invite me to church, man. Don't invite me to church. Invite me to dinner. Matter of fact, the guy that invited me to church, he said, I'll take you to lunch, but you got to come to church. Just let's meet for lunch. You have a wonderful church service. I'll get to lunch and we enjoy lunch. Why you got to connect lunch to church? It's like you got to give me a reward for coming to church. The reward is church. The reward is hearing a good message, being in the fellowship of the saints, all the things that are connected with attending a church or attending church services. And I get it. I get it in regards to, man, you want you to come to my church. The way we do church, man, is just a blessing to me. So I'm suspecting or hopeful that it'll be a blessing to you. But if folks are on the road working, now if I'm on the road for 3 weeks, yeah, invite me to church. I need to be in somebody's church. But if I'm on the road for 3 days, I think I'm gonna miss this one. I'm gonna miss this one because then our church is virtual too. I can get online and watch my church. Nah, I'm straight, cool. So I don't know. How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about that? When you go on vacation, do you go to church? Will you go on a conference where you happen to be on the conference until Monday? So let's say you're at a conference from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you return home on Monday. Do you go to church? Are you a faithful church attendance when you're outside of your area code, your zip code that you reside in? My Goodwin is it now? What I will do, and I've done this, and I have no problem doing this. Let's say a church brings me in for a church an event. I can think like, well, I was invited to a church in Greenville. That's about 2 hours from me. And in this particular instance, I was traveling. So I had an event Friday night in Charlotte. I had an event Saturday in Greenville. And then I was going to stay in Greenville to do the Sunday evening event for their volunteers that Sunday evening. Well, since I was in Greenville already, I don't know if the church got a hotel or I just stayed in the hotel that I was at. And I was going to be in that hotel. And then after I finished the event in Greenville that night, I was going home. So in that instance, if I'm in the city and I'm doing an event at your church that evening, yeah, I'm gonna come to church service that morning. And let's say we have you have a 6 o'clock event that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm gonna come check out your church. Like you've hired me. I'm gonna come to the church service. Now, that's not inviting me to the church. That just that's where I'm gonna be. Now, if I do a church service, let's say I do a Saturday night event for you, and then you're like, hey, tomorrow morning you can come. No. Nah, I'm on my way home. Even I've had that happen before. I remember doing, it's been a number of years. I don't do this anymore. There used to be a time where you could book me easily. Like those days aren't. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's easy, but it's a substantial financial commitment, and you probably need to get dates in because I get my schedules are pretty demanding, so it's not a given that date's gonna be open that you may want me for. But I remember I did a Saturday night event for this pastor. Probably did like a pastor's wife's birthday, and it was in Georgia. And I didn't really have any plans. I did the Saturday night, but it was far enough for me to stay the night and leave in the morning. And a pastor approached me, like, "What you got going on in the morning? Because I gotta get you my service. I shouldn't have went to his service. I shouldn't have went. But those are the days I've agreed in times past one of the quickest ways to get me to say yes is to ask me to do something after I just finished an event. Oh man, I'm so vulnerable. Oh yeah, we can figure it out. We can make it. Like now, I'm just like, hey, here's my number. Call my guy. We if we can work it out, we can work it out. But I used to be, yeah, committing for something the next day. So in those instances, yeah, I'll come to someone's service. But man, I'm typically trying to get back home. Or if I'm just there for the sun, I'm trying to chill, man. I ain't trying to get dressed. I mean, I got on gym clothes. Now, you probably wouldn't have a problem with me coming to your church in gym clothes. And I wouldn't have a problem going to people's church in gym clothes. But man, I don't know. I might be different. I might be an undercover heathen. But me out here inviting me to church. The other thing, from being on the road, I was recently, I got a membership. I have a few gyms. I got a few gyms out here in these streets. Like I used to be the dude that would get a membership at the cheapest gym. Like I didn't care about the amenities. I didn't care about 24 hour. I didn't care about what equipment. If I felt like, oh, this is a good gym, I can work out here, I can get some stuff done, I'll pay you a little $22 a month or $10 or $50. Like, I mean, I'm just back in the day with probably gym memberships monthly at the max were probably $18, something like that. Well, since then, I've had a number of memberships. I've been a part of some pretty pricey fitness experiences, and now I'm not going to those places. So I'm not in these monthly contracts where on average, you can, if you're working out at these boutique fitness places, you could pay $180 a month for the workout. I'm not doing that. I don't do that anymore. I'm probably at the $20 a month. But since I'm paying $20 a month, I'm like, hey, I can have a few gyms. So I got a couple of gyms out here. I got 3 gyms, and I'm going to let one go, but I got 3. And I've been kind of dragging my feet because it's $20 a month. And they did bump it up a little bit, I saw, because they were taking out $9.99. I saw they just took out $12.99. And I need to cut them off. But I do have a gym that I visit when I'm in town. Then I have another gym, the Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness, you have access. If you pay the premium cost, you can go to all the Planet Fitnesses in the country. So when I'm on the road, most times the hotel gyms are fine, but I like going to the gym. I like getting out of the hotel. I like going to the gym, right? Well, I recently was at the gym in Charlotte, and you scan in, and again, I have the access to go to multiple gyms, but the guy asked me for my ID, and I'm like, bruh, come on, man. You gatekeeping workouts? Yo, even if I was like shot my boy, my Planet Fitness, like, hey, bro, you in Charlotte, go get a workout. Planet Fitness, y'all should let that slide, bro. Like, now, if somebody doing some kind of scamming situation where you done seen this same ID or this same membership number 5 times in one day, 7 times, different times in 1 week, like that kind of thing, yeah, call people out. But man, go check my ID because you try to make sure this membership hey man, come on, man, let people live, man. Let people it's the same thing where I think my buddy John Chris has a joke about when you try to pay your parking ticket online and they ask you to like verify as you. Like, who is out here just paying people's parking ticket on the road, baby? Another thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about this episode, but I'm talking about the probate experience that I'm having because my father, as you know, my father passed. And we got to talk about this probate situation. It's wild. It's wild. It's very cumbersome. And I don't know if this is just my city, my hometown where I grew up. Maybe it's different Or maybe it's just government bureaucracy. Like it's just red tape, but I don't like it. And I'm going to talk about it. Now, I talked about this last week. This segment I wanted to promote. This segment is the new segment. What are you reading? I want to know what you're reading out there. Send me some suggestions. I just got finished reading The Art of Learning by Josh Waskin. Basically, this is a book about high performance. It's very, very impactful. Josh, if you are a fan of chess, he was the young guy that was highlighted, or his story was told in Searching of Bobby Fischer. Chess prodigy, grandmaster, worked his way up from a very early age to the higher echelons of chess mastery, right? But then he got involved with, I don't know if it's martial arts, but it was some form of martial arts called push hands, and he became an elite competitor in push hands. And he's just talking about how he systemized learning, because chess is such a game around memorization and how do you strategize and practice. So it's a very excellent book in high performance. The subtitle is The Inner Journey to Optimal Performance, The Art of Learning. 2 thumbs up. I would highly recommend y'all take a look at that. If you have any book suggestions that you want to send my way, I would love to check them out. I'm currently reading the book now. Hopefully I'll be finished with it soon so I can highlight it in the next episode of What You Learn, What You Reading. We're going to probably do that at least once a month. Find out what you're reading out here in these streets, because readers are leaders. And if you're not leading, you're retreating. I didn't mean to say that. Everyone's leading. Everyone's leading at the minimum their own life. So if you have any great suggestions, send them my way. I would love to hear what you're reading out there in the Bowtie Comedy listener streets. But the moment we've all been waiting for is the best advice ever. And today's best advice ever is something similar I've said, and I say things that are probably similar or parallel to things I've said before. But today's best advice is let your results do the talking. Let your results do the talking. I think sometimes in life, we get full on appetizers. What I mean about that is you go to a restaurant, especially the nicer restaurants, steakhouses and chop house and places that you got to get reservation. You might valet your car. You know, they got live music playing. They have a bar with a particular dress code for the wait staff. You know, you talking about high cotton situation. And you go and you sit at the table and they bring you this wonderful water and they bring you breads, cheeses. And before you know it, you just chomping away. Then you might get a couple of appetizers and they're a hearty portion. You know, they're not little quick hitters. It's you know, you order the meatballs and maybe the calamari, the bang shrimp, you know, and by the time you ate appetizers and the bread and drunk the water, you full. You are full off the appetizer. You didn't even get to the main course. You didn't get to the entree. And I feel like that happens if you're out here telling people what you're going to accomplish before you accomplish it. I mean, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to go on a national tour, sell out shows. I'm going to get my real estate license. I'm applying to dental school. And all of those things are great. I would suggest that you have those goals and aspirations, that you have people that you're accountable to, that you are sharing these things with. But I would encourage you to keep it minimum. For the vast majority of people, let your results do the talking. Let people talk. Oh, man, I saw you got your real estate license. When'd you do that? Oh, yeah, man. Man, you're looking slim. How much? You lost some weight. Like, let your results Do the talking. I think too often we do the talking and don't do the doing. I do this thing in my keynote where I talk about you got to do the work. You know, we live, especially with social media. Social media, you can get on social media and be like, man, I'm about to get started writing my book. Here's the cover. I've done this. Here's the cover of my book. People are like, woo, can't wait to get it. It's going to be awesome. What do you pre-order? Brian, I done been writing pages. Book not done. I done hired multiple coaches. Still no book. To talk to a book agent. No book. Man, let the results do the talking. And I'm saying this from a person that's in entertainment. I don't often reflect and think about this, but really until 2019, I had done a lot of work, but I didn't have very many credits. I started doing stand-up 2005. I started getting like real credits in 2019. Dry bar comedy was maybe my first official. Now I had some things. I was on TBN. I was on the Word Network. You know, I had some stuff. I had done a USO Germany tour, but like I didn't have America's Got Talent. I didn't have Dry Bar. I didn't have the Today Show. I didn't have those big dog credits, Sirius XM radio. I didn't have those because my results wasn't doing the talking. I was doing the talking. And what I mean is, when I got started doing stand-up, I had a lot of opportunities where I taped. BET had a comic, like a gospel comic view. I taped it. I went through the auditions. I was called back to be informed that I made the live show. I went to Atlanta, recorded the segment, murdered, did a great job. I got a check from BET. I got paid. I took pictures with other comedians that were taping for this show. It was incredible. Vicky Winans was the host, and it never aired. And I was telling people, yo, I just taped Comic View. BET got a gospel Comic View. I'm telling the people at the barbershop. I'm telling family members. And folks are asking, hey, man, when's your show coming out? And I'm looking at the email. I'm asking other comedians I knew that have taped it too. Hey, you heard anything? What's the word? And ultimately, it got shelved. It got canned. It did not air. And I'm not going to say I was standing there with pie on my face because there's no pie, but I'm doing all this talking about things that I should have just let the results. That happened. BT. I taped for Orangeburg. I did a comedian, a good friend of mine, taped this special in Orangeburg. Makeup. Sold tickets. Beautiful facility. I think it's the Stevenson Auditorium, if I'm not mistaken. First official recording, like a big deal recording, never aired. Never saw the footage. That happened time and time and time. Nephew Tommy met Nephew Tommy at an event for Mayor Steve Benjamin. I was on the show. Nephew Tommy was impressed. Told the crowd, oh, I'm going to get this guy, fly him all over the country, get him all these places. And he did. He flew me to Oakland, California, where we recorded this thing called Uncontrolled Comedy. Never aired. Now, I think if you look at the IDMB or I'm not even in the entertainment vernacular. I don't even know the entertainment vernacular, but you can go and look and see the projects that people did. I don't even have the IMBD credit, and I taped it. So let your results do the talking, man. Let your results do the talking. That's my best advice of the day. From the mind of Mike, had something interesting wanted to share and think about. Big basketball fan. If y'all know anything about me, you know I love basketball. And one of the most talked about persons in basketball right now is a man by the name of Draymond Green. Draymond gave the gift that keeps on giving, these hands. But what is interesting, Draymond has been on a streak, on a run of violence. He's been choosing violence. Draymond just choked out a fellow basketball player, Rudy Gobert, a few weeks ago. Now he got suspended by like this cold cocking. It was just like this 180 karate chop to the throat. And is suspended indefinitely. But what stood out to me is the fact that his last name is Green. I know a lot of Greens. And you know what the Greens don't have a problem with doing? Giving you these hands. I'm talking about you can go through the history of Green. You got Al Green. I think he got a pot of grits thrown on him because somebody must have given somebody some hands. AC Green, my buddy of mine just mentioned AC Green was a 40-year-old version. He was giving somebody some hands. Mitch Green. Mitch Green was the boxer that got beat up on the street by Mike Tyson. Hands. Mean Joe Green. Hey, what thing about them Greens, man? They don't mind giving somebody those hands. So I don't know what's going on with Draymond. I did go back and look at the box score, and Jokovic, or whoever the guy that was, he chopped his throat. Djokovic. And maybe I'm confusing him for the guy that's in the Nuggets. But he had 17. That was not necessarily cooking Draymond, but that's not the guy you expect to have 17. Now Draymond say the guy was pulling his shorts, but I think, hey man, that guy gave him 17, which he typically probably only give people 8. When you get 17, your teammates probably talking trash about you. Say, hey man, you letting that dude off the bench light you up like a Christmas tree, man. You need to play some defense. You know things are bad when somebody gonna tell you they'll guard the man you guard. Let me get him. Draymond like, you ain't getting nobody. I got him. Well, guard him then because he got 17. Draymond like, I'm putting into all of that. But yeah, the Green family, man. I know some Greens. I grew up with Green. It's a bunch of them. So you're not just gonna fight one of them. You're gonna fight a whole heap of Greens. You're gonna fight collard greens, cash money green. Get these hands is the family slogan for the Greens. That's all I'm trying to say. That's from the mind of Mike. Man, thank y'all again for another episode of listening to the Best Advice Ever podcast. Man, please rate, subscribe, let people know. I hope this is beneficial, enjoyable. What you're not going to do is not get on my webpage or my website, MikeGoodwin.com, and find out about the Big Dad Energy Tour. I got a date in Tampa, January the 6th. They got me on the junior varsity time, though. I'm at 4 o'clock. Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock. You got to sell tickets, then they'll put you on big boy times, 7 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. But before then, they put you like at 4 o'clock on a Saturday before the big show. You're over at the kids' table, at the kiddie pool. See if you can swim before you put you on the big pool. So you get shows like Saturday at 4 o'clock, or they put you on Sunday at brunch. Don't know if you can sell these tickets. I believe I can sell tickets because people listen to the podcast. People come out and enjoy shows. People follow me on social media. And I would love for you to come to the Big Dad Energy. Tampa is the next city, but I'll be in Marietta, Georgia. I'm going to be in Kansas City in February. I will be in Toledo, Ohio. All the places. It's on my website, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in the future. But this has been an episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. I can't wait to check in with you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. See you next time. Peace.